temperature of the light, like how intense the light, like how much intensity is the light. The color is dependent on its intensity of any light source in natural world, right? And that is why I always never use this color palette. Instead, I use this huge temperature and I try to control it according to this. So the lower you will go, like if you make it 1000, the color will be orange, but if you make it 2000, it will be yellowish. If you make it 3000, it will be less yellowish. If you make it 5000, then it will start becoming a little bluish. When you make it 7000, it will be blue. So the color of the light is depending on the intensity, like temperature, okay, like temperature. So always try to use this temperature value for getting the exact light you want, because this is the way in nature or in reality or in real world light behaves. Okay, so I hope you understand this. This is also the same effect world. This is also cast shadow, so it will not cast shadow. And since by default in Unreal Engine 5, the lighting technique or technology working behind automatically is lumen, and in lumen, indirect lighting intensity does. If we go here in indirect lighting intensity and if we increase this, you can have the same effect, like the light being emitted from the point light is hitting the surfaces and going back and then again coming back and hitting 5 times, okay, 5.4 times, right? So this is the number of times the light being emitted from the point light hitting the surface and again going, like being reflected and again hitting on any other surface and then again coming back. So that way the GI increase, the light, the scene is brighter and the darker areas will be less darker. So this is that. And again, volumetric scattering in the scene I have never used, so let's leave it as it is. And this is also same as effect world, so you can switch it on, switch it off. Generally this helps in doing the coding, like doing the coding with the help of blueprints. Okay, this one is also the same. If we switch it on and if we click on play, then it will not be there because this option is on, that it should be hidden in the game mode. So we'll switch it off. This is also editor scale. You can scale the icon of this point light bigger or smaller, and rest everything we should just ignore it because I have never ever used them, so let it be. Okay, this in ray tracing sample per pixel I will be explaining something like few things about it while we will be making a scene inside Unreal Engine in off interior. That time it helps in reducing the noise in the shadows. So now let's go to spotlight. Okay, so I will go ahead and delete point light and I will drag and drop a spotlight here. I will just bring it up and then I will increase the intensity of this spotlight, and then this is the same. I can just type the intensity of the sunlight if I want, and this is the attenuation. So this is the attenuation, like how much far it will affect the world or the scene. So this is also very important or useful thing. And this inner cone angle, so if it's 0, there's only outer cone inside a spotlight, there's no inner cone. Okay, but if we increase this inner cone, then we will have a inner cone, and by that we can make the effect of light prominent. Okay, and this the area from like transition of the spotlight from brighter to darker, we can make it sharper or tighter. Like if I increase this, you can clearly see that this effect, the transition between lighted portion and the darker portion will be very hard because I have inner cone set to maximum, like it's same. But if I go ahead and increase the outer cone angle, again this will be softer. So we can get a softer transition. We can get a softer transition of light like this. If I have it like this, this area is brighter and eventually slowly this is going and then this is being darker here. So I hope you understand the difference between the cone angle. Okay, it is very important like option in Unreal Engine in Spotlight. So you should be aware of that. Like this plays in getting the transition of light on a spotlight either harder or softer. It's very useful thing. Okay, now let's go to the radius. So same, if it's casting a shadow here, like if I go here and then I increase this, it's casting a sharp shadow. And if I increase the radius, it will cast a softer shadows. So it's very helpful now. Okay, so we can see its difference. If I go here and I just put it, bring it inside so that the shadow is very crisper and clear. So let's proceed further. And this source, like source radius, I have never understood what it is actually, so ignore it. Source length, same as that. So it will have a source length you want, and it will be like this. But I don't use this source length option on Spotlight. I only use it on point light. So let's ignore this. This is the same temperature, so I just generally keep my temperature on 3500 for an interior to 4500 for an interior. So it is either 4000, either 4500, or either 3000, depending on how much yellowish or tint I want in my scene. This is the same effect world on, cast, shadow, on, off, and this one is in that intensity, same as earlier I have as explained. This one is also same, and this one. So from next on, anything that is similar or will not affect anything for an architecture scene, I will ignore it. Okay, so now let's post, like this spotlight has been covered. We'll delete this and we will proceed to rectangular light. It is amazing in Unreal Engine. This area light is absolutely phenomenal, especially in a lumen or ray traced scene. So any scene that is using human technology as a dynamic global illumination and or ray tracing for dynamic global illumination, this area light plays a great advantage. So you can put it on all the openings of an interior scene, like windows, doors, and then holes in roofs, or something like some structure like gap in the roof. You can put this area lights as portals. So you can just like increase the intensity of this light, so it's the same. You can change the color, same. You can change the attenuation, how far it affects, it's the same. And now it has source width and source height. Okay, so this is the height of the like area, like how big your area light is, that determines this. So if I increase this one, I can increase the size of the length, and then I can increase the height. Okay, so like I can increase the width or a height of the scene and make the area light bigger or a smaller. Okay, and this is barn door. So this one is having barn door, so you can have some effect like this. So let's observe that carefully. If I make it 90°, so it will be straighter. But if I make it like this, we can have effect like this. So I have never used it, but I'm aware of this, and this might be useful in some cases. So you should be aware of this, that what this barn door is. So it just changes the structure, outer structure of a area, like a area light, and it helps sometime if you really need it. And barn door length, so you can also increase the length of this barn door based on your requirement. So you should be aware of this. You might use it. I have never used it till date in any of my scene in Unreal Engine 5 or in any static scene. Never use this or like a barn door angle or barn door length, but you should be aware of this. It might come handy sometime. Okay, but this source width and source length and the temperature here. So there's also a option here like source texture. So if you have a texture which has white color on it and black areas, so it will, that texture will act as a light source. Okay, so any texture you switch it here, like bring it here, that texture will act as a light source. It's very simple. Just go in Photoshop, make a black screen, like black template, add like two rectangular lights there, save that as a jpg, bring it here, apply it in, and the whiter part of that texture will start emitting the light into the scene. But as of now, the light is being emitted from a area, like rectangular area. But if you apply a texture which has some specific points over like brighter points, then those brighter points will emit light and the darker point areas will not emit light. So to have custom lighting effect in your scene, if you needed, you can use it. I have not used it, but it's extremely useful in some times, because so if you know about it, it will be helpful in some scenarios or some circumstances. Now you go ahead here and you click on use temperature. You can increase the intensity, like you can change the color of the light depending on the temperature of the light. Okay, so let's reset this. This is effect all done, cast shadow, cast on. This will increase or decrease the indirect lighting intensity, and the rest is same. It will be disabled, like it will be here available here. When we click on play, it will be gone, it will not be there because this actor hidden game is on. And this is the editor billboard size, like icon size of the area light will be increased or decreased from this. But rest, these are all irrelevant as of me for architecture. So let's proceed further. So now we'll go ahead and add a skylight in the scene from the left panel here. And we'll just go ahead on the left, click, and then drag and drop it into the scene. After that, if it's looking dark, then what you need to do is you need to increase the intensity scale here. Okay, so this real-time capture requires a atmosphere, a sky atmosphere, so that this skylight will be active. And but it's not important to use that. But let me show you. If I go ahead and click on real-time capture, it's dark and it clearly says we need a sky atmosphere component here. So just type sky and you can see a sky atmosphere, and then just drag and drop it and it will be activated, and rest everything will be the same. But while I will be teaching you how to lit up an interior environment like a room or something like that later on in the tutorial, because this is at the moment I'm doing the introduction of lights, like you should be aware of what are the lights in Unreal Engine and what are the major settings that helps in doing the lighting of a scene. And later on when we will come to detailed lighting, where I will show you how lighting has to be done or how lighting can be done in a scene, it should be noted that only lights in Unreal Engine is not going to help you complete a scene in terms of lighting. There are several things that needs to be combined together, and then after that, those every like all those elements done together rightly, like project settings, light mask settings, settings in world settings, and then light baking, and then lights proper configuration, post process setting, everything done together, then only you will get a good light in the scene. Okay, or the lumen settings and then dynamic lighting settings, all those things, you will get a good illumination. But here I'm giving you an introduction. What are the major types of lights available? What are their major properties? And later on, I will show you how to combine everything, like all the knowledge and information, all the settings together, and get a good lighting in your scene. It's not only the light which you just put a light and then everything will be okay. No, there are combinations of different things to be done. Like everything should be done properly and as accurately and as efficiently as possible, and then everything combined together will give you a realistic result. And I will show you the entire process. But at the moment we are trying to understand what Unreal Engine is in itself, like every properties, settings, things we are trying to observe. that are very helpful in doing our